It was the year 2050, and the world was a very different place. Advances in technology had allowed for the development of time travel machines, and a team of scientists had been working tirelessly on perfecting this technology. The team was led by Dr. Michael Reynolds, a brilliant physicist who was convinced that they could use time travel to fix the past and improve the future. The team had been working on a prototype time machine for several years, and it was finally ready for testing. They began with short trips into the past, observing historical events without interfering with them. The team was pleased with the initial results and began planning longer trips. Dr. Reynolds was eager to take a more significant trip into the past and change a significant historical event that he believed had set humanity on a dangerous path. The team set the time machine for the year 1914, just before the outbreak of World War I. The team arrived in a bustling European city just days before the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the event that had sparked the start of World War I. Dr. Reynolds was determined to prevent the assassination and alter the course of history. However, things did not go according to plan. While attempting to stop the assassination, the team caused a chain reaction of events that changed the course of history dramatically. They returned to the present, only to find that the world they had left was not the same. The sky was dark, and the air was filled with a thick, oppressive fog. The team soon realized that they had been transported to a different timeline, a world that had been consumed by darkness and horror. They saw people, or what they assumed were people, shuffling aimlessly through the streets, their eyes vacant and their skin pale and rotting. As they explored this new world, the team encountered terrifying creatures that they had never seen before. These creatures were the result of the changes they had made in the past, and they were now the dominant species on Earth. Dr. Reynolds realized that they had made a terrible mistake, and that their attempt to alter the course of history had caused a catastrophic event that had destroyed the world as they knew it. They had to go back and undo the changes they had made before it was too late. The team returned to the time machine and set it for the year 1914 once again. This time, they were determined to set things right. They arrived in the same city, on the same day, and watched as events unfolded just as they had before. As they returned to the present, the team held their breath, unsure of what they would find. To their relief, they found that they had returned to their own timeline. The sky was blue, the air was clear, and the world was the way it had always been. However, as they stepped out of the time machine, they realized that something was still not right. The team soon discovered that their trip into the past had not gone unnoticed. Someone, or something, had been watching them. They were soon confronted by a group of beings that they had never seen before. These beings were unlike any of the creatures they had encountered in the alternate timeline. They were tall, gaunt, and had eyes that glowed with an eerie blue light. Dr. Reynolds and his team soon realized that they were facing an ancient race of beings that had been manipulating the course of human history for centuries. They had allowed the team to travel through time to correct their mistakes, but only so that they could manipulate the outcome to suit their own dark purposes. In a final, desperate attempt to set things right, Dr. Reynolds activated the time machine and set it to travel to a time beyond the reach of the ancient beings. As they disappeared into the vortex, they could see the beings' eyes glowing brighter and brighter with anger. The team traveled forward in time, not knowing where they would end up. When they finally emerged from the time machine, they found themselves in a strange, desolate world. The sky was a sickly yellow, and the air was thick with a noxious smoke. As they explored this world, they realized that it was a future that had been devastated by a catastrophic event. The few survivors lived in fear of the dangerous creatures that now roamed the land, and the team soon found themselves fighting for their survival. As they fought their way through this dangerous new world, the team began to realize that they had made yet another mistake. Their attempt to escape the control of the ancient beings had led them to a future that was even worse than the one they had left behind. Dr. Reynolds and his team soon realized that they were trapped in this new world, with no way to return to their own time. They had played right into the hands of the ancient beings, who had manipulated them into traveling to this future where they would be forced to live out the rest of their lives. As they sat in despair, the team realized the true horror of their situation. They had been used as pawns in a game that was much larger than they could have ever imagined. The ancient beings had been manipulating human history for centuries, and they would continue to do so long after Dr. Reynolds and his team had perished. The team's attempt to change the course of history had ultimately led to their own downfall. They had unknowingly played a part in a grand scheme that was beyond their understanding. And so, as the sun set on this desolate world, Dr. Reynolds and his team realized that they were truly alone, trapped in a time that was not their own, with no hope of escape. The horror of their situation was more profound than any they had faced before, and they knew that they would spend the rest of their days fighting to survive in a world that was never meant to be. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story, and remember, if you struggle with falling or staying asleep at night, click on the first link in the description for the ultimate solution to your problem. Now, choose one of these two videos and continue on our journey in the world of bedtime stories.